All right, everybody. If I can get your attention. My name is Matt Barlow. I'm the recreation specialist in charge of City of Aurora Youth Soccer. Thank you to all you guys online. Let us know in the chat if you have questions, or raise your hand if you have questions, and we'll try to be watching that as well. And if we have questions in the audience, we'll take a microphone in the audience as well. And there'll be one video that's short, like 3-minute video that plays on the slideshow that I'll probably hold the microphone by the speaker, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it watching online. If not, we're hoping that this records and we'll be able to get it up on our YouTube channel that you can watch it later if you're missing it or missing anything when you're online. So yeah, thank you guys all for coming. It says parents meeting, but it's parent coaches meeting. And yeah, thank you guys. Welcome to the fall season. My name again is Matt. We're going to talk about these things here: staff, philosophy, dates, websites and forums, rules, and helping your coaches out, right? Right here is Derek Tripp. He's the recreation superintendent for sports.
All right, thanks, Matt. First off, thank you for being here. Big thanks here to Randy Simpson from our IT department. He's helping us set this all up today. This is kind of a cool, I guess, groundbreaking thing we're doing, having this big meeting and doing it on the web and putting it on YouTube and use our new technology here. So we're all part of history, I guess you could say, today. So we have other staff here today. Todd Steinkamp is in the audience right now, and he's our recreation supervisor in charge of sports. Matt introduced himself, and Marlinda Acevedo is our field supervisor, and Marlinda's in the back. Reed Davis is also here somewhere. Yeah, in the audience.
So Marlinda's not here tonight. That's Deb and Malik are helping us out. They're part-time employees as well that help out with a lot of different sports, especially baseball and softball. Marlinda wasn't here, but if you've played in the league before, you've seen or met Marlinda probably. She's been around before me, so she's been around for a long time. And there may be other part-time staff that I have out there as well if Marlinda can't be there or whatever. But usually I'm at every game on Saturdays. And I try to come by practices every now and then just to say hi and see how things are going, see if anybody needs anything. So we are a recreational league. I cannot stress this enough. I do not do trophies. I do not do champions. I do not do playoffs. We follow NAYS, which is National Alliance for Youth Sports, and we follow their best practices for youth sports. We do not keep standings or scores in 4U, 6U, or 8U. I know some people, I grew up in a different era as well, right? So we had scores, we had playoffs, we had whatever. I think times have changed and we just don't have that. 10U does have scores and standings, so does 12 and 15U, but again, we're not really crowning champions. In fact, in some cases, every team may not even play every team if there's a lot of teams in a division. So, but you know, hey, if you win all your games and you want to call yourself champions, that's fine. But we're here for fun. We're here to participate, in an environment that fosters physical, emotional, social growth. And again, the wins and losses are not as big a deal to me and should not be to you. Focus on the fun, focus on the learning, let the kids play. Equal playing time, we're going to touch on that further down the road, but equal playing time with all circumstances and criteria of the coaches being met should be as equal as possible. If you got a We Care flyer, that's one of our initiatives that my coworker Reed put together. It's basically just about cheering, accepting, respecting, and encouraging. It's just being positive. We don't need any negativity out of the field. And again, we follow NAYS as one of our initiatives as well. So again, I don't want to focus on the negative, but every season there's 1 or 2 instances, which is really like less than 1% when you consider it, of either referee abuse, or even I've had a complaint where a parent said, my kid went home crying because a parent from the other team was singling the kid out for not being a good player. You would think that that wouldn't happen, but apparently it does. I didn't hear it, but if you do hear stuff like that, come and find me right away because I'm going to take care of it. Okay, at least if I come over it, hopefully it'll stop. But if I hear it, then we can take it to a warning or an ejection or whatever. We don't want to have to go down that road, but that's where we'll go if we have to. So read over your We Care flyer. You'll see the sign right outside as well, and just understand what that means. and follow that when you're at the games. Support all the players, support both teams, support the referees. A lot of the referees are kids that played in our league. Some are 14, some are 16, some are 18, some are adults, but they're learning the game too. And if you know the game better than them, great, but either become a ref or be quiet. There's going to be mistakes. If you watch a professional sports game, there's mistakes by referees. And now, of course, they have video reviews and stuff that we don't have, but you understand what I'm talking about, right? We'll talk about that. So here's the little video where it's talking about, I don't know if it'll play. Let's see if it plays, Derek. Can you click on it and see if it'll play? Click on the square there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I prefer that my parents, if I play bad, don't say anything. And if I play well, it doesn't really matter if they compliment me on how I play. I just I don't know, I prefer my parents to, not talk as much.
I can hear them like cheering me on, and I'm like thinking in my head, just shut it, I'm trying to focus.
My mom yells in Spanish, like, go, go, go.
My mom usually says, use the backboard. You should use the backboard. I get angry because it annoys me. I'm kind of embarrassed.
She tells me to get in the position that my coach told me not to get in. I'm like, well, no. And then she's like, get in your position. I'm like, no.
I get a little tense when I have a certain score to get, and she's like, you gotta get that whatever score. And I'm like, ah. I don't like it when they try to push me even more, even though I'm trying really, really hard. Coming from the coach's mouth is kind of better, I feel like, because your parents are there to support you and your coach is there to help you, you know? You just start screaming, Valentina, run faster, make a basket. But I just start going slower every time when she says that.
The other people were like, wow, that mom is like really wanting her kid to win.
In my inside, you can't see it, but I'm inside saying, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet. Sometimes I just look into space.
I try to listen to them and then do what they say to so they don't start yelling again.
I don't really want them to give me that much advice because then I might forget it all.
Sometimes I get nervous when they yell and nobody else is yelling.
Sometimes it can embarrass me, like a lot.
Wait. What's going on? We're just trying to do this, but you want us to try harder?
Well, I am.
I'm not going into a game not trying my hardest. That'd be like messed up.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
Sometimes when they try to get the ball in basketball, you kind of think in your head that they're kind of like gonna push you and you're gonna fall and hurt yourself.
They don't need to always be telling me what to do every minute of the game. They kind of just gotta let me play.
I love when you say it really nice. I got it, Mom.
I'd like to look back and I'd like to see you smile or give me a thumbs up.
Mom, I wish you would be a little bit quieter. Say you played good and you couldn't get them next time.
When they smile and say good job.
Mom and Dad,
Thank you for
Loving me.
I love
be my supporter.
when I'm upset, my mom and dad cheer me up.
Sometimes I forget about all the work that they do for me.
Be my biggest fan.
We need a lot of love. I want you to know
I need big hugs.
I love the snacks that you bring me. It makes me happy when you always encourage me.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
Please just be my mom and dad. Yep, that's it.
So hopefully everybody gets the idea. And on that, again, on that care sheet, I think it talks about cheering, and it says something along the lines of, yelling instructions to your child about what to do is not cheering. Complimenting them or, good job or whatever is cheering, but saying, pass it, shoot it, do this, do that is taking the game away from them. So try, even though I know all this comes from the place of you wanting your kid to do well, try to avoid those types of comments and just focus on, the positives of what's going on in the game. So important dates. If you're a coach in the room and you're interested in coming to the coaches clinic, or even if you're a parent in the room and you're interested in coming to the coaches clinic, you can. It's going to be at Skills Park, which might get a new name here shortly, called might be named El Salvador Park, I believe, sometime soon. But anyway, that's this Saturday from 9 to 11. Myself and another one of my coaches, hi, Rick, will be there to run it. Next week is the first week of practices, so all the rosters got sent out last night, and coaches should begin reaching out to you in the next day or two. I hope that they'll all reach out to you at least by tomorrow, but at the latest Saturday. And if you haven't heard from them by Sunday, then reach out to me, and I will connect you guys, okay? Sometimes an email or a phone number in our system is off by a letter or a number, and that causes a glitch. It's happened already. So let us know. And also, if you have an email that's not on my list, that's not in the system, that you want to have included where I send weekly or bi-weekly emails to the entire league, then send me that as well, and I'll add it to my list. August 20th is the first game day. That's Saturday, August 20th. It's not up there, but the schedules will be out. I think it's on one of the other slides that we'll see in a bit. The schedule should be out by the end of next week, hopefully sooner. We have a picture, Labor Day weekend, we don't have games. So we play 2 weekends, and then we have 1 weekend off. I did see one coach had said, so we'll have an optional practice before Labor Day weekend. That's fine, you can do that if you want. I would use that because we only have 2 practices for the most part, 2 weeks before the first game. You have those 2 games, and then you kind of have that 2-week period to kind of reset and work on some of those things from the first 2 games before your 3rd game through your 8th game. So I would try to practice both of those times, because again, it's only once a week, but that's entirely up to coaches and depending on if you got a lot of people going out of town and if your practice is on a Friday or whatever. So you guys can play that however you want. September 17th is a picture day, and that happens at the sports park. It'll either be right before or right after your game. Your coach will get signed up for a time, and then he'll communicate that to you. The only thing I would say about that is we just want everyone to be in the picture. I don't care if you buy anything. Just want all the kids to be in the picture, because there's no fun having a team picture with only half the team there. So whether it's before or after, please try to be in the picture, and then you can buy what you want or buy nothing. It's up to you. All that stuff will get communicated out. There'll be an order form. There'll be instructions about what to do for the picture day. And if we have rain that day, you can see we have a makeup day for the next one, or if anyone misses, can't make that 17th day, we can probably do one on the 24th. If we have no weather issues, which amazingly, well, I probably shouldn't say it, but the last fall and last spring, we didn't have a single rain out or snow out. So if we do have straight through, we would end on the 15th. But please keep in mind on your schedules, on your calendars, that we have 3 Saturdays for makeups, because you know how weather can be around here. So keep the 22nd, 29th of October, and November 5th. November 5th would pretty much be the absolute last day. We have to be off the fields at the sports park by then. And if we really got strapped for space, we can do Sunday afternoons, and in some cases we might be able to do Friday nights. That's only in like absolute emergency to try to get games in. If we do get 6 out of the 8 games in, or 75%, that constitutes a full season by what rules that we have as a sports division. I want to get all 8 games in. I'll do everything I can to get all 8 games in. Sometimes it might not happen, but hopefully it will. All right? Any questions so far? Okay, question online from Martha Lopez. Let's see if we can get it. Martha, we're going to open your microphone and see if we can hear you. Martha, I think you can unmute yourself and ask a question if you want. Martha Lopez?
So on August 6th and August 8th, we're going to be on camping day. So I'm not going to be for the skills.
Okay. So for August 6th is just a coaches clinic. So it's for coaches to learn how to coach better. So if you're a player, you don't have to worry about August 6th. And then what was the other one? August 8th. Let's see. Oh, well, August 8th, I don't know. What day are you going to be gone just August 8th or all week?
3 days for that.
Couple days?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just
so
for
3 days? Okay. So when your coach contacts you with your practice day, you're going to have to figure that out and communicate with them. So if your practice day is Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and you're going to miss it, then you just need to let your coach know that you'll be there next week. And if your practice is Thursday or Friday, hopefully you'll be able to make it. Okay, so when your coach reaches out, you got to communicate with your coach on that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So after the meeting, we're going to be giving out uniforms to the coaches that are here. All the coaches complete a background check, a concussion certification every 12 months by state law. They do a volunteer coaches agreement, and they also complete NAES training, which again is a volunteer training as well as a soccer training. So they're doing a lot to coach. Just give this a second. The coaches will also give what's called the code of conduct by Deb at the door today, and they'll be emailed it if they're not here tonight. You're going to read that code of conduct and sign it for each player, and then they're going to give that, the coaches are going to send that to me. That way, again, if we have any questionable behavior at the field, I'll be able to say, see this code of conduct that you signed, that you said you wouldn't, you know, et cetera. So the coaches are given usually one extra uniform. So let's say there's 6 on the team, they get 7 uniforms. If there's 8 on the team, they get 9 uniforms. And they're kind of like from whatever size to whatever size of that age group. So again, I encourage the coaches to not give out the uniforms on the first night when only 5 of the 8 kids are there. And then you find out that you've given out the biggest uniform and the biggest kid wasn't there, or the smallest, or whatever. So I would, again, make sure that the coaches sign the code of conduct, or have the parents all sign the code of conduct so that you've seen all the kids before you start giving out your uniforms. If there's a real size issue, I can order another one or more. It just takes a little bit of time. So obviously it doesn't come overnight. It takes a week or 2. That's the youth sports website. So if you go to that website, you'll see soccer, baseball, tennis, whatever. Click on the soccer. You've gotten that in an email from me probably already. Strongly encourage you to go down and look at some of the stuff that's at the bottom, where there's the rules of the league, which you may have picked up a copy here if we didn't run out. But if we did, they're on the website, and you really need to read through them so that you understand some of the things that are on there. Some of it we'll talk about in just a minute. But again, picture day stuff is there. Play It Again sports links are there. And the link to the team sideline site, which is where our schedules are posted. So you have to go to the team sideline site, scroll down to the left-hand side, look for soccer, youth spring soccer, look for your age group, click on that, and that's where you'll see your age group schedule. All right. One important thing about that is, and hopefully everybody hears this, if we do have a rain out and you bookmark your age group page, once the schedule changes, that bookmark will no longer be valid. So if you go into that later on, you're going to have the wrong times or the wrong weeks or whatever. So make sure you change it, or don't bookmark it, or just bookmark the main site to Aurora and connect through each time. All right. So again, this is the Spectator Code of Conduct sheet. It's not blue, but it's white. That's the part you read. That's the part you sign. Coaches need to sign at the top too. And the coaches need to get that to me, hopefully before the first game with everyone's signature. Sometimes that's not possible because someone's out of town or whatever, but get it to me with as many signatures as you can get before the first game, and then all of it whenever you can. So I will be following up with coaches on that. I don't want to get to the point where we're saying your game won't happen if I don't have your code of conduct, but that could happen. It would be great also if you got a team parent for the coach to give it to the team parent and the team parent to take it around at the first practice, and then you're done. So think about that. Team parents, we'll talk about that in just a minute as well. So inclement weather information, we do have a hotline, but honestly, I don't use it. I use email. I use email for 99% of my communications because I know I can hit everybody at once, or at least in 2 emails. If you're getting sometimes 2 emails, it's because I can only do 500 at a time, and we do have 575 kids or so registered. So I have to break it up into 2 emails. So if you got a kid in 2 age groups or whatever, you might get the same email twice. So I apologize for that. But and I'll put it on the soccer website. So if we do have game cancellations, I will communicate that out. I see below practices, unless we have, citywide weather where all of the parks are closed, I will send an email out saying no one can be on the fields tonight, and then coaches hopefully will follow that, because I'm not going to go to every field and check, but let's follow it, please. But otherwise, what it's doing here and what it's doing in Southlands versus what it's doing somewhere else, we all know can be very different. So each coach has got to make a decision about inclement weather, lightning, and so forth if it's happening. If there's anything within 10 miles, you should not be out there. It's not worth, if you can imagine, being at someone's funeral because you wanted to have a soccer practice. All right, so please err on the side of caution with weather. But again, the coaches need to make decisions. If you want to contact me to get my opinion, you can. But use your AccuWeather, use your weather.com, use your WeatherBug, whatever you got, and be safe. Okay, a couple things about rules. Rules vary from each age group. So if you got a copy of the rules, you're going to see some different things in different age groups. And it's not 11 on 11 World Cup soccer, as we've mentioned already. So 4U is 3v3, 3 against 3. When I say 3v3, 3 versus 3. 6U is 4v4, 8U is 7v7, 10U and 12U are 9v9, and then 15U, just because the number of participants that we have is 7 on 7 again. If we had more, we would probably go higher, but that's what we need to do right now to keep that going. 4U is coach, ref, and run. 4U's price is quite a bit less than the other ones as well, and that's partly why. The refs start reffing at 6U. They may not really even be needed at 6U, but it's good practice for the refs, and it takes a little bit of responsibility off the coach, and so on. So again, respect the intent and spirit of our league-specific rules, such as, well, we're going to get to it in just a second, but they're found on our website, and it says more on that to come. So let me see what the next slide says. Equal playing time is required for all players. So we'll get to the other rules and some other things about age-specific stuff on the next slide, I believe. Equal playing time. Yes, we want equal playing time as much as possible. Sometimes it's not 100% possible. If you've got 14 players playing 9v9, unless you've got a calculator, it's going to be hard to get exactly equal playing time. But if you are a no-show to practice and you haven't communicated with your coach, I don't expect the coach to give you equal playing time. If you just don't want to go to practice at all, I don't expect the coach to give you equal playing time. I do expect them to play you, believe it or not, because we are a rec soccer league. But understand that it's a team sport. We've got to talk to our kids about commitment and being at practice and being part of a team and all the things that are important for success of a team. And by success, I don't necessarily mean wins and losses. I mean getting better as a team and having fun as a team. All right. Head coaches permitted to converse with officials and must do it in a common professional manner. Some do, some don't. I see Theo's on there. Hi, Theo. I'm just teasing him. Again, if you really have an issue with the official, come see me, and I'll address it with the official. They're going to make mistakes, I guarantee it, and that's just part of sports, so it's okay. You can just read the rest of those. Again, I don't want to get too heavy on all that, but again, if you have an issue with another parent or something else, come and find me or come and find Marlinda or whoever the field supervisor is and let us come and take care of it for you. We will. So we don't use yellow or red cards in our league, again, because it's a recreational league, and really for some kids that they might find it upsetting, I guess is why we don't. But referees and staff have the ability to say, you need to take a timeout, sub them out, give them 2 minutes to take a breather, too many fouls in a row, too many hard fouls, or too hard a foul, or whatever. Or if it gets to a certain point, they can obviously eject a player and say, he's done for the rest of the game. We do have a rule in our youth sports as well. I don't know if it's in my rules, but I should probably put it there. If a parent gets ejected from a game, your child is leaving with you. Okay, so that's unfortunately to let you know that you can't stay, so the child can't stay. So you guys have to leave together. So just want to keep it calm and have a good time and everybody enjoy themselves. So here's some specifics to age groups. Obviously, the game lengths are shorter at younger ages. It's all in the rules. We already talked about standings and which age groups do and don't have them. The 5-goal rule, again, is more geared towards 10U, 12U, and 15U, where we do have scores and standings. What it means is when a team gets up by 5 goals, the team that is up by 5 goals takes a player off the field and plays 1 player less. If they go to 6 goals up, they take another player off. If they take 7, another player off. Now, coaches often ask, well, why can't we add players instead of taking players off? Well, because that's counterproductive to what we're trying to do, which is make more space on the field, especially for the team that's not winning the game. They need more space and less players to play against, not more players on their team crowding the field even more, if you can picture that. So there's that. And then, I've told coaches this before, and I'll say it again. You need to coach your team in a way that is respectful to your opponent. There are going to be teams that are better than other teams. There's going to be a team that's 8-0 and a team that's 0-8, and everyone in between. That's just the way it goes. So when you're getting near 5 goals, maybe the kid who's never scored a goal should be the one that scores the next goal. Maybe your strong players come off the field. Maybe you have to complete 10 passes. Maybe you have to score on a one-timer. Maybe you have to score outside the box. There's a million different things you can do. Switch the players around. Put the best player in the goal or whatever. So think about that. And again, we're not looking for setting records of highest scoring games or highest scoring difference. No slide tackling. So that's just a safety issue, obviously. So sliding and slide tackling are 2 different things. If you're sliding in to save the ball from going out of bounds and no one's around, that's different than slide tackling. Slide tackling is sliding when you're near someone, or sliding to tackle the ball when you're near someone. So the referees should be calling slide tackles as indirect or direct free kick. It doesn't really matter if you get into all the specifics of direct and indirect, but no slide tackling for safety reasons. Offside is only in, I should have 10U, 12U, and 15U. It's probably, the slide is probably, should have been updated. Sorry about that. If you don't know what offside is, don't worry about it. It's pretty complicated. Google it. I've been a certified referee for 24 years, so I definitely know what offside is. The laws change all the time through FIFA, through the world governing body of soccer, but offside can be a tricky call, especially for younger officials. They'll do their best they can. Build out line is something in 8U only. That just means that when a goal kick is being taken, that the opponents are behind this dotted line that's about 1/3 of the field back, just to give a little bit of space so that the ball is just not being rammed right back into the goal by a stronger team or whatever. So, and playing time we've already discussed. So referees, that's one of our referees there. She'll be back refereeing this fall. She was refereeing last fall, I believe. Just a couple things on there help us recruit and retain referees. I'm not going to read them all, but that's my work phone number at the bottom if anyone's interested, or you can obviously email me if you want to become a referee. Even if you can only do 1 game a weekend, it's good to have extra people because we always have absences, illnesses, and other things come up. So, and we will have a referee training. One of the feedback I got from the spring, I mean, again, it was 99% positive, was the referees need more training. Well, they get training, and I train them. I'm there every Saturday training them. There is a limit to how much we can train them. We can't have them out every night of the week training them. So we train them before the season and every Saturday when they're there, and I send them emails about things they can work on almost every week. So just to know that. And yeah, again, it's not going to be perfect, but the kids and the adults do the best they can, and I think they do a great job. Uniforms. Participants just need to wear the jersey provided. Everything else, color-wise, is up to you. Your coach can get you all in the same colored shorts or whatever, but I don't care. As long as it's safe and you can move and you're having fun, I'm good. So no other jersey, but if you want to, if it gets colder in October and you want to wear long sleeve under the jersey, fine. You want to wear long pants over the shorts and over your shin guards, fine. Pink socks and bright green shorts, fine. The only thing that I really would emphasize is have the players wear their shin guards under their socks. A lot of kids think it's uncomfortable, but that is sort of one of the laws of the game. It's a safety issue. It's hard plastic. It needs to be under the sock. It's just a rule. So get them used to it. Figure it out. There are things you can do. You can get, different. You can wear a pair of socks under and then put them over and then put the socks over again or whatever makes it comfortable for them. But socks over the shin guards under the socks. And you see on the bottom there, of course, religious head coverings, medical bracelets, and other things are fine. If you have any question, casts can be fine if they're wrapped, arm casts and stuff like that. Probably not leg casts. Yeah, jewelry is prohibited. This one comes up every season, despite this warning. There's always at least one. I just got my ears pierced. I can't take them out. I don't know how that works. I never had my ears pierced, but please don't pierce them during the season. I don't want to tell a kid they can't play. Taping over them is not an option either. So no watches, no necklaces, no earrings, etc. It's choking hazards, it's other hazards. And we don't want them to get lost or broken either. So that happens quite a bit as well. So parents, helping your coaches. As soon as they reach out to you or at the first practice, let them know if you want to be an assistant coach, that's fine. If you want to be the team mom or dad, if you want to be the snack list person, which is one of the most important jobs of the team, because the kids love the snacks. Communicate with your coaches, be on time, drop off and pick up. So obviously, the coaches are volunteers. They should not be, when the practice ends at 6 o'clock, they should not be there at 6:30 with your child waiting. They should not be there really more than maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Otherwise, the next step could be to call the police, which would not be a great scene. So we don't want to do that. We just want to be on time with drop up and pick up as much as possible. Commitment and teamwork we talked about a little bit already. Be respectful and care we've talked about. Dealing with injuries, I would just say, in soccer, you're going to get your foot stepped on, you're going to get your shin kicked, you're going to get the ball kicked into your stomach. Those aren't necessarily injuries. It hurts, but it does go away after, a few minutes. So know the difference between that and maybe a serious injury where we've got a twisted ankle or a twisted knee or something more serious. Let the coaches deal with it, especially at a game. If we need to call a parent over, we will. Parents do not need to run on the field unless we summon you on. We'll definitely do that if we have an issue. So yeah, be a parent and not a coach unless asked. So we kind of talked about that with the commentary at games and even at practices. Try not to be coaching your child. Let the coach, or you can ask to be a volunteer coach, just so that the child can focus on one voice, if that makes sense. So that's it. Thank you, guys. I think that was super fast, wasn't it? 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes. Before everyone goes anywhere, let's just see if we have any questions here in the audience or online. Oh, I see that question online. So a parent asks, let me leave that one right there. Can a parent stay the whole time during practice? And then she said, quietly. Of course. For the younger ages, I would expect a parent to stay the entire time. There may be some older ages where a parent's not there, but I would ask that parents stay at the practice if they can. And if you don't, you need to let the coach know. You need to make sure the coach has your contact information in case there's an emergency, right? So be careful about that. But yes, you can definitely stay at the practice, and would encourage you to do so. I don't know if everyone can hear you through there, but
the question was from a coach, I believe, and asking about substitute coaches. They were saying that they were going to be gone during a practice and consecutive game. My response to them online was that it'd probably be your best bet to find a parent who could step in and volunteer during that time. So at the beginning of the season, it's not a bad idea to maybe reach out to the parents and say who wants to help out. If not, if you get into major bind, what I said is reach back out to us, I suppose, and send us the question.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of discussions with coaches about that, and a lot of coaches that, I have to really work to get enough coaches for all the kids. And honestly, if I had more coaches, we'd have even more kids, but I, pulling teeth just to get the amount of coaches that I have. And some of them say, well, I'm going to be gone, 2 dates or whatever. I said, I still need you. I'll come and do it if I have to, if I can. If it's at a game and Marlinda and I are there, one of us will coach the game if we have to. But hopefully, and Rick is also here. Sometimes he's going to be helping out his own team, but Rick is my super sub coach as well. Again, he's going to help with the coaches clinic. Well, he's going to be running the coaches clinic with my help. And then again, we'll make it happen one way or the other. We don't want to forfeit anything. We don't want to lose any games, whatever. So, hopefully a parent will feel comfortable after a week or two to step in and just coach a game or two. It's not difficult, and I'm happy to help if you need help. Other questions?
With the drop-off and pickup ball point, parents are required to be at the practices and games. It is not drop-off and go, right?
Yeah, so Coach, I think that's Coach Millam. I don't know, it's Millam or Milam, sorry. I don't think we've met in person. It's not drop-off and go, especially not for 4U, 6U, or 8U. I would not suggest that. 10U, 12U, 15U can be a little different. But again, if you are having to not, be at a practice or game and drop and go, you need to make sure that coach is aware and has your contact info. If a child is, which you've had in the past, let's say a child is being a problem for a coach and the parent is consistently leaving, then we're going to have to ask that parent to stay and help discipline their child a little bit if necessary. Any last questions?
There was a couple more here, Matt,
Okay.
online too. So one asked about how many days can they practice per week, 1 or 2?
Yep.
Is there a limit or?
So this is always a point of contention, but for a rec program, I feel 1 practice is plenty. Some coaches like to do 2. I don't tell them no. So if you go to a team and they're doing 2 practices and you're fully against that, let me know and I'll see what I can do as far as switching teams. It's not easy because, as you may have noticed, 4U, 6U, 8U, 10U are all full to the brim. So to switch someone, I almost need 2 people that want to do the exact switch to switch. So I've already gotten some emails today, and I am going to check and look and see where I can switch people if I can. But if you think about it when I'm forming rosters, which is something I probably should have had on the slides as well, if you've got a team of 8, but and they're all from Vista Peak, right? But then there's 2 more, 3 more from Vista Peak. Well, I have to put them somewhere, and it usually goes in order of registration. So the earlier you register, the better the chance you have to be closer to your home to some extent. But those 3 then may have to come down into Aurora a little bit for practice. Someone that's near Prairie Middle School may have to come over to Skills Park to practice, or whatever. That's just the way it is. Aurora is a big place, and I try to fit everyone's needs in as best I can, requests and so forth, but it's not guaranteed. You may find you ask for Coach Smith, but Coach Smith isn't coaching your age group, or Coach Smith isn't even coaching in our league anymore. So you've got a different coach. Don't let that decide that you're going to end the season. And the same thing with rosters. Just so you know now, it's co-ed, right? So I don't go through and say, oh, there's 4 boys on this team and 5 boys on this team, or 7 boys on this team and 3 boys on this team. I need to balance it out. No, some of the girls are as good or better than the boys. So it doesn't really matter at this age in this league how many females, how many males are on a team, or how many 3-year-olds, or how many 4-year-olds, or how many whatever. It's completely random. It's by area. It's by coach requests. It has nothing, and I have no dog in the fight as far as who wins the league. So the rosters are just made as best as I can make them. With 575 kids, it's quite the puzzle.
Somebody asked if cleats were preferred.
Cleats are not mandatory, but cleats are a great idea. Obviously, kids' feet grow fast, so that's why Play It Again Sports is a good idea, but cleats are not mandatory at all. Any kind of sneaker is fine. The only thing I would say about cleats that we run into a lot is there's a difference between soccer cleats, baseball cleats, and football cleats. Soccer cleats, baseball cleats, and football cleats are not necessarily safe for soccer because they have sharper edges. Certainly no metal cleats are allowed. But they should just try to find a soccer cleat. If you go to Play It Again, you go to Dick's, don't let your kid choose because it's the Broncos cleat. That's not necessarily a soccer cleat. You don't need high-topped cleats. You just need a soccer cleat or sneaker is fine.
Last question was,
if
a practice is canceled due to weather, can it be rescheduled later in the week?
If a practice is canceled, can it be scheduled later in the week? Potentially. The coaches, I don't know if it's from a coach, yeah. Yes, Coach Tibbs, it can. You'll have to get with me immediately when a practice is canceled to see if we can find a space that's near where you are that isn't being used by another team in the days that are left of that week. So it can be rescheduled. It might not always work out, and it might be difficult for families. So you'll have to check into that and say, if your Wednesday practice gets canceled and you're going to try to do Thursday or Friday, but you're only going to have half your team, it's probably not worth it. But it's up to you.
So she said, if I signed up for Saturdays and the practicing game will only be held on that day, or there will be other days assigned later.
So our league is Saturday games and 1 practice per week, minimum of 1, or at least 1 practice per week, right? So your coach is going to contact you and let you know what day of the week your practice is, Monday through Friday, in the evening, probably between 5 and 8 p.m., depending on the age group. And then your game is going to be on Saturday between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. I'll send those out, and you'll have the schedule within a week of the games as well. So yeah,
that's it. I think I'm on.
Yeah. All right. Oh, question in the audience? Yeah, good question. Well, we're all in one area. We're all in what's called the northwest platform of grass fields. So it's just south of the turf fields, and I'll send out there's a map on the website, I think. If it's not there, I'll be putting it up shortly of what fields we use. Normally what I try to do is cater towards the little ones as far as not having them play in either the coldest part of the day or the hottest part of the day, depending on the season, because they're a little more temperature sensitive than some of the older ones. But it doesn't always work out that way. I have to map it out. I have to look at referees. I have to look at, one of the most difficult things is coaches coaching 2 teams. And so you've got, one coach coaching 4U, one coaching 8U, and then one coaching 4U and one coaching 12U. And, there's a whole nother tangled web there. And so I have to make it fit that as well and not have overlapping times and make sure they can make it to both their games. So I do allow coaches to coach 2 teams, but I don't allow them to coach 3 teams because it becomes too complicated to do that web. So that's not really the best answer, but I would say that 4U and 6U probably will start between 8:30 and 9 and go to, it'll be 3 or 4 blocks of an hour to an hour and 15-minute blocks. So I'll take you into the early afternoon probably. And it also depends sometimes, again, on coaches and coaches' schedules and other things where I have to make that fit. Yes.
Siblings are in the same age group, are they going to play on the same team?
Yes, anybody that signs up, brother and sister that's in the same age group, 99.9% of the time you're going to be on the same team unless you ask not to be. Yeah, so brothers and sisters, brothers, twins, whatever, are on the same team. You can pretty much bank on that. And I try to meet all of the requests where, Jill wants to play with Steve, but then sometimes Jill wants to play with Steve, but Jill wants Coach A and Steve wants Coach B. So it doesn't necessarily always work out when they make those requests. Again, it's a kind of a tangled web of, or you have 20 people that want Coach B and you can't put 20 people on a team. So, yeah. Any last questions? So, coaches, we're going to go outside. You're going to get with either me, Deb, Malik, maybe Todd, or Reed. I don't know if he's still here. We're going to have clipboards. We're going to walk you down the line of jerseys, equipment, coaches' shirts. If you are a returning coach and you already have enough equipment, please don't ask for more until we at least give it to all the new coaches that are here tonight. And of course, there's new coaches that aren't here tonight that I'll need to get equipment to as well. So please keep that in mind. And yeah, thank you guys all for coming. Email me any other questions you have, and we'll see you on the 20th.